Hey guys, Dakota from Cartropolis TCG. Today we're going to be doing another Weiss Schwarz deck profile. Today we're going to be doing the time I was reincarnated as slime deck. Just set 1, set 2 is coming out later this year, so that'll be interesting to see how like the deck changes. But yeah, I guess we'll kind of start talking about it. It's a really good deck. It basically focuses on building a lot of compression and has a lot of healing. Very like defensive, kind of tanky deck. Not really any finishers, but you kind of just win by just attacking normally and trying to cancel more than your opponent. We do have like one card that's like kind of a finisher, but not really. But a cool thing about this deck is it's very consistent. You have a good amount of like one-ofs that you can search with your event. But yeah, we'll just get started. We'll start with level zeros. So I'm playing this card, Power to Protect Comrades Rimaru. It's basically a clean cut. So level 0, 2000 power. It's an anti-runner, so characters facing this cannot move. And then when it reverses an opponent, you can choose one of your Demon Continent characters, rest it, move it to the open position of your backstage. There's a new one coming out in set 2 that's way better. And hopefully I think I'll probably just switch this one straight across for that one because that one's like way better. It gets like, I think it gets power on play. So it's a little bit bigger than this. This being 2000 isn't big. But it can take out runners, and runners usually aren't super strong. But this is like one of our main plussing level zeros that I play. I just like clean cuts in general compared to like other types of plussing level zeros. So yeah, I just like the card. Next up, we got After the Battle Rimaru. This is our Ricky level 0, 1500 power. Pay 1 stock, take a damage. On play, you may search your deck for up to 1 level 0 or lower character, reveal it to your opponent, and put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. And then auto, you can put a card from your hand into your waiting room. When this card is placed on stage from hand, you may pay the cost if you choose one of your opponent's level 0 or lower characters and return it to their hand. So you probably won't be bouncing your opponent's level 0s. Like, it's a minus to do so. You could bounce like back row if you're trying to like win board or something, but this hasn't really come up ever. You can also like discard climaxes if you really needed to, but this is basically in here to like search for our level 1 combo is the most likely thing. Sometimes we'll grab like our little like tech pieces to like refill board really quick, but yeah, just your normal Ricky. I'm only playing 3. I usually play 4 Rickies in a lot of my decks, but this deck has such a, I feel like a low, I guess 17 isn't that low for level 0s, but it just feels like the level 0 game in this deck, you're just trying to get to level 1, and once you're at level 1, like your deck just starts going crazy from then on with compression. But this basically just sets up your level 1 combo. But definitely, like, I feel like I use this late game a lot too, because how I kind of play the deck is against certain matchups, they just have bigger characters than you, and basically I'll just use this to fill up my board, just crash in, and just hope my like compression can get me there. But yeah. Next up, we got Head of the Monsters Rimaru. If you have 2 or more other Demon Continent characters, it gets plus 1000 power, so it's 15 plus 1000, 25, so that's like not bad. And then when it's sent to your waiting room, you can discard a card. If you do, look at up to the top 4 cards of your deck and choose up to 1 level 1 or higher card from among them, reveal it to your opponent and put it in your hand, and then put the rest of the cards into your waiting room. So on death, this can dig for your mask, can dig for your level 1 combo. We have a good amount of level 1 or higher targets in the deck, so it hits pretty often. I mean, in theory, you can miss, but it shouldn't happen. that often, I guess. Next up, we got All to Oneself Chloe, level 0, 2000 power. On play, on stage from hand, it gets 1500 power, so 3/5. So kind of one of our like beaters in the deck, I guess, which is really funny because she's like a little kid. And then you can discard a Demon Continent character from your hand, and then when you play, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for one of the mask events. Reveal it to your opponent, put your hand, shuffle your deck. So this is really good. A really good. This is such a good card to draw just like all the time. I mean, late game, as you start running out of masks, you might not have any left in deck, and then you can't really use it. But like early game, you just ditch dead cards in your hand. It does have to be a character, so you can't ditch climaxes, which you probably want to keep this climax for your level 1 combo. This one can kind of, if you draw this one, that kind of sucks. But there's other ways to discard it. But yeah, you just grab your mask, like thin out your deck a little bit, and then just get ready for your level 1. Once you hit level 1, you can just start using your mask to grab whatever like combo piece you need at the time. But yeah, 3 of that. We don't really need 4. Like I said, we have a lot of like 3-ofs here because Ricky can grab like all of them at level 0 if he wanted to. So I don't think we ever really need like 4 of anything. I just like the clean cut because it's just like a good solid effect. Next up, we got our Brainstorm. On play, on the stage from hand, choose one of your opponent's character in the center stage, and it gets minus 500 power to end turn. This can sometimes take out opponent's characters. Like, there's a lot of good level 0s now that are kind of getting like power crept, but to balance it out, they are becoming like lower and lower powers. So this can just randomly like kill things like Wildberry Princess, the Overlord, Clock Kick, like like a lot of like Sows, like level 0s if they happen to just not open like good, I guess. But it can just randomly kill stuff. Also, if you save it for level 1, you can kind of like wait and just try to get over stuff with it. 500 power is not really that much, but it's something. We only play 2 because our back row gets pretty clogged up pretty quickly with like this level 1 and just like moving stuff to, and like our assist. But we can also grab it off Ricky and we can search it off Mask. So we only really need 1. Like very rarely do we need to like double Brainstorm on the same turn. But yeah, so just 2 Brainstorms. Next up, we got 2 more level 0s. I kind of just went off to the side because I put all my 1-ofs over here. But this level 0, Child on the Inside Millum. Level 0, 1000 power. It is a level 0 bomb, so it just kills level 0s. And then on play, you can pay 3 stock. If you do, put all your opponent's stock into their waiting room, and they put the same number of cards from their deck into stock. So it's a stock bomb or stock swap. I guess stock swap is the correct term. We don't use this that often, but when it does come up, like just having it just on like a level 0 is nice because we can grab it like off Ricky, we can grab it off like Mask, grab it off Brainstorm. So it's really easy to find when we need it, but I don't use it that often. But it's nice to have it. Also, it kind of fixes red because we're mostly a blue-yellow deck, but we're splashing a little bit of red, so it kind of is a little bit of red fix too. So that's nice. Then our last card is just Rimaru Tempest, level 0, 1000 power. On play to the stage from hand, reveal top card of your deck. If it's a Demon Continent character, put it into your hand. Choose a card from your hand, put it into your waiting room. So it's a top check, and then you can also discard a Climax to salvage a Demon Continent character from your waiting room. Choose it and return it to your hand. So that's really good because like this Climax is like super dead in hand unless you're just slamming it for damage. So it can get characters back. Oh, I didn't go over that. This is like a salvage Brainstorm. So we have like salvage, and then we have like search. But I'll get to this in a second. But yeah, just a normal rest self Brainstorm, search, or search waiting room, salvage, whatever. So yeah, that's 3, 6, 9, 10, 13, 17 level zeros. So a good amount of level zeros. I would say 16 is probably average, I think. So a little bit more than average. But a lot of them have a lot of good utility. Like the only ones that are bad past level 0 are probably the clean cut, because it's just not going to get over anything, or it's very unlikely to get over anything, even with the climax it's only like 3,000 power. So yeah, let's get on to level 1s. We're going to start with our climax combo, level 1. Conqueror of Flames Shizu. So when it attacks, if we have Legendary Hero, which is a gate, in our climax zone, mill the top 2 cards of our deck into the waiting room, choose up to 1 level X or lower demon continent character in your waiting room, return it to your hand. It gets 2,000 power until end of turn. X is equal to the total level of cards in your waiting room milled by the effect. So on attack, mill 2 becomes 7,000 with the climax. If you mill like a climax and a 0, you get a salvage to 0. If you mill like a 3 and a 0, you get a mill up to, like, you get to salvage up to a 3. So as long as you mill, I think like a level 1 or higher, just one of them, then you can grab something always good. Hitting a, like, even if you hit double climax, you can still grab a 0. And the zeros that we're most likely to grab are, Chloe to search for like our masks, or I don't know, maybe this one, Rimaru to salvage characters and stuff. But yeah, a good plussing combo that doesn't require reverses, which is nice. 7,000 is a decent amount of power to get over most things except for like standby decks. And then the second effect, when it becomes reversed in battle, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a demon continent character or anti-magic mask, you may put this card into your memory. So it hits on everything except for a climax. So 42 out of 50 cards. And it going to memory compresses you, and is also our requirement for our early play. So yeah, 4 of those. Yeah, unfortunately we can't like reuse our combo, because as they like die, they go to memory. But sometimes we can get a second round going if we get like 2 of them and then get the other 2 later. Or even if we get triple Shizu off and then we still have 1 more left in deck, sometimes we can just get the combo off randomly later. But yeah, we don't really need it past level 1. We should be able to search everything we need off this, and then from there, our game plan is just to early play heal and just kind of just keep healing for the rest of the game. So we don't necessarily need to do a second round of it. Next up, we got our event. It's a 1/1 event, anti-magic mask. Search your deck for up to 1 demon continent character, reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck, and put this card into memory. So we can't like constantly keep reusing it, so we only have 4 like in the deck, but it goes to memory, so it compresses, and it thins our deck by searching deck. So and it can search for any character, so you can grab all your like 1/ofs, which is the main reason why this is like so good. And you can grab your like early plays, you can grab your combo. So say at level 0 you get like, I don't know, like 2 attacks, save like 2 stock. If you have like Chloe to get this and draw 1 naturally, you just pay 2 stock, search for 2 combos, and just like combo. It's like, it's actually just kind of insane. Like this card's really good. And makes getting your level 1 combo super consistent. The only thing is you have to draw your like climax to plus anyways. You can still call these out and like attack and like get reverse and stuff and still go to memory to meet your requirement. But it's definitely better if you can like plus while doing that. But yeah, overall very, very powerful card. Next up, we kind of got our like compression. So this is like all of these compress because they go to memory. And next up, we have more cards that can compress even more. So we got this Creating Potions Rimaru, costless level 1, 1500 power. It has 3 effects. Very versatile card. Pay 2 stock, rest this card, and you can heal 1 from your clock to your waiting room. You can rest this card. If there's no markers underneath this card, you can choose 1 demon continent character in your waiting room and put it face down underneath this as a marker. So if you do this right before you refresh, you can take another card out of your deck, which is nice. And then the third effect, act, rest this card, put one marker underneath this card into your stock. So yeah, it can like every 2 turns, it can build you a stock. And then late game, if you have like a ton of stock, you can just keep like healing every turn with it. But yeah, super versatile card. You definitely want to get this at level 1 as soon as you can to start, getting the compression going and building stock, so you can keep playing healers and stuff. Next up, we got Demon Lord Ramirez, and level 1, costless, 4,500. Pay 1 stock on play from hand to stage. You may pay the cost, of the stock. If you do, choose one cost 0 or lower demon continent character in your waiting room, put it on any position of your stage, and then at the end of your turn, it goes to memory. So this is really good. It's a way to build up your board, pretty cheaply, kind of like a Ricky does. But at the end of the turn, it goes into stock, so you can just grab whatever you want and just start compressing right away. It's usually good to get these back with like your brainstorm, or to search, after you refresh, to keep searching this. The more times you use this before you refresh, the more cards that will go to your memory. So your deck just keeps getting smaller and smaller. But yeah, very, very, very good card. We don't have like a ton of like good targets for it, really. I mean, grabbing our Shizu can be a thing if we have any left. Grabbing this will be like our next like option, but most of the time you're just grabbing a 0 and just crashing and just sending it to memory. Next up, so I'm playing this over, there's like this like, I don't know, it's like a bug dragon looking thing. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's a robot. I don't remember. But it just gets like 3,000 on your turn, so it's a 7,000 like beater. I'm playing this one, Attendance Check Rimaru, level 1, 5,000 power. Activates up to 1 time per turn. When you use an act, it gets the following ability till end of turn. On reverse, you can put the top card of your deck in your stock, so it blind stocks you. It's a way to build stock, which in theory can be good compression or build compression. Against standby decks, you're probably not going to be able to get any reverses with this. But sometimes they'll maybe leave just like a small character out. You can snipe and then crash into the bigger ones with your Shizu. I just really like this because if you get to level 1 first and they have like level 0s out, you can sometimes just get a random reverse off this. We have a ton of like act effects in here, so like our brainstorm is like the biggest one, but this level 1 is also really important, so it's very likely that we'll have this out, and then by resting this, we can trigger this effect. So yeah, it's pretty easy to like trigger the effect, and sometimes you'll just get a random stock. Okay. Last up, we got Instructor Hackaroo, I think. It's a 1/1, 4,500. When it becomes reversed, if the level of your this card's battle opponent is higher than your opponent's level, you may put that character into their stock and put the bottom card of their stock into waiting room. So it's a stock bomb for early plays, essentially. It can also hit standby targets, which is why, I'm playing this right now. We have another card that hits early plays, but this is just really good. It can hit standby targets, and yeah, that's like, I think it's worth it to play it. And then we can like get it back with our brainstorm if we need to. But that's it for level 1. So 4, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14 level 1. So pretty high number of level 1s, but we are playing an event. But yeah, most of the cards compress or like are an answer to like something. So a pretty good utility all around. Next up, we got level 2s. I guess we'll just start with I guess I'll just start with the other early play killer kind of card. Glare Rimaru, level 1 or level 2, 1 cost, 2,500 power. Probably not going to play it. It's also red, but if we use it as backup, we don't need the color requirement. Discard 2 cards from your hand to the waiting room. When you use this card as backup, you may pay the cost. Choose one of your opponent's characters with a level higher than your opponent's level and put it into their waiting room as a 2,500 backup. So for 1 stock and discarding 2 cards, you can kill early plays. Just your generic early play killer, backup, anti-change, backup, whatever they call it. But yeah, good card. Also can protect your early plays randomly, because our early plays are kind of small on our opponent's turn. So sometimes we can protect one and maybe kill an early play. Just kind of depends on how our opponent attacks. But yeah, so 2 ways to out opponent's early plays, plus our early plays can kind of kill their early plays sometimes. So yeah, and this card's really important too. This is our assist, level 2, 1 stock, 4,000 power. All level 3 character or higher characters in front of this card get 2,000 power, so it can make our characters pretty big on our turn and decent on our opponent's turn. And you can tap this to draw a card, choose a card from your hand, and put it in your waiting room. So like if you need to get through your deck, this can slowly get you some cards. Also, if you're getting too many climaxes in hand, you can discard them. It's just like a decent effect that you can use to discard dead cards in your hand and try to get like more healers and maybe one of your 1/ofs that might be important. But a pretty good card to search out with Mask early, because you want to play that the same turn you play your early plays. And that's it for level 2. It's just 2. But the cards that we're going to go over next kind of count as level 2s because we're playing them at level 2. This is our main one, Memories of Japan Shizu, level 3, 2 stock, 9,000 power. Memory, if you have 2 Conqueror of Flame Shizu in your memory, it gets -1 level from hand. So if we have 2 of these that died earlier in the game, this is an early play. If you have 2 or more Demon Continent characters, it gets 1,500 power and hand encore, discard a demon character, hand character encore. So it's 10-5 and can't die as long as we have characters in our hand. And then on play of stage from hand, you may put the top card of your clock into your waiting room. So 10-5 early play heal with encore it's a very strong card, and if we can make it 12-5 with this, that's pretty big. And then if they happen to try to get over it, we can just ditch a character and keep it alive anyway. But basically we just try to get as many of these out as you can and just constantly keep healing and just trying to kind of win board and just heal down. It also makes like the dead level 0s or like other dead cards in your hand like useful, because you just keep her alive. Next up we have our other early play, Achieving Vindication in Shion, level 3, 2 stock, 9,500 power. If your waiting room has 2 or less climaxes, it gets -1 level in hand. During your turn, if all of your characters are Demon Continent, it gets plus 2,000 power, so 11-5 early play on your turn, and then you can discard a card from your hand to the waiting room, and then on play from hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, put the top card of your clock into your stock. So as a early play, heal the stock, that's huge on your turn, so you can run over other players' early plays or standby targets, and then heal the stock, so it kind of only costs 1 stock, and you can use that stock to heal more, or to play more characters, or just build it up, whatever you want. So this deck doesn't need a ton of stock, because we have like ways to generate extra stock with like these, and this replaces itself a little bit, and our we don't have a finisher that's like super stock intensive. So we don't need like a ton of stock throughout the game, but it's nice to build it up, because it is, if it's clean stock, it does count towards compression. We'll go over this next. This is our level 3 assist. For everyone's sake, Shauna, level 3, 2 cost, 3,500 power. Assist, all of your characters in front of this get 2,000 power. So again, kind of like this, it's 2,000 assist. On play, onto the stage from hand, you may choose 1 Demon Continent character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. So you can salvage like anything. You can get a backup to help your characters keep winning board. You can grab another healer, which is really nice. So that's like pretty popular at like level 3, is to just play this, salvage a healer, play a healer, and now you have a huge healer that's going to run over something and possibly live to your next turn. Then you can rest this card, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and put them back on top in any order. So you can change the order of your attacks. You can see if you're going to trigger any kind of like soul. So you can try to attack for like precise damage if you need to. Can also see if there's a climax. So if you play this, salvage a healer, rested, look at top 2, see if there's like a climax there. You can brainstorm, get another healer. Just depends on how much stock you have, but making good attacks is nice. not like the best effect, but it's just a nice add-on to an already like good card. Then our last card is Dragonoid Millum. This is basically like our really jank finisher. Level 3, 2 cost, 9,500 power. On play from stage from hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a Demon Continent character, you may deal 1 damage to your opponent, so it burns 1. When your other Demon Continent character attacks, this card gets 1,000 power till end of turn, so it can get pretty big. And then if this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you may pay the cost of 3 stock. If you do, put that character into your opponent's clock. So it also clock kicks. So this is really good as a one-of. It just kind of, if our opponent's at like 3 something, just with all of our attacks of 2/2/2 plus a on-play burn plus a clock kick, we can definitely close out games. And it's the closest thing we have to a real finisher. I would like to say that whiffing on the top check doesn't happen very often, but it definitely happens to me more often than you'd think. It basically hits on everything that's not a climax or your mask. And in theory, I mean, you probably should be compressed. So like, 30% chance of hitting a mask. So it should go off maybe 2/3 of the time. But if you hit the mask, that doesn't count either. But these should all be in memory by that point, hopefully. I mean, if the game's going like how you want it to, you should have already used these to like search for pieces you've needed, and then these should be stuck in memory. And then on the climaxes, this is just our gate that comboed with our Shizu, and this is just an empty door that when you trigger it, you salvage a character. So just a plussing level 0 plussing climax. Both of them are plussing climaxes. When we trigger this, getting back a climax just to discard to like this, or like getting back the Rimaru to discard the climax to salvage. We can also discard it to draw a card. We can also discard it to heal the stock. So we don't want to trigger too many of these because we don't want like too many climaxes just stuck in our hand. But depending on where we are, we can also just, like at level 0, if we like mulligan one away and like trigger one, we can just clock the other one and just try to get 2 new cards. But yeah, that's the deck. I think it's really fun. It's one of my favorite decks right now, and I really love the play style of it. It's very, very like it does one thing very well. It like, it heals and compresses, very defensive. It plays defense very well. It doesn't wall up nearly as good as like the standby decks, which can be a problem. But at least against those decks, we can plus enough and crash in enough to where we can like cancel, on the swing back. We do have a pretty bad Data Live matchup, because we can't always get over like the Toka level 2s, and they have the level 1, 2, and it's just really hard to keep doing damage to them if they keep top checking and moving stuff to the bottom. So that can kind of be a pain. But overall, the deck's really fun. I would like to still play this version when set 2 comes out and just kind of modify it a little bit and still go the healing compression route. But there's also like an 8-choice deck that's pretty sweet as well. But I'm definitely looking forward to the new clean cut effect. But yeah, that's the deck. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy this type of video. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. We're getting to a pretty high count of subscribers now, so that's pretty awesome. So I hope you guys are loving the type of content we're putting out. We try to put out a little bit for each of the different games. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.